A man has a superpower. That's a very interesting thing to wake up next to. Well, that's what happened to a man in my village. There was this guy who lived in my village. He was a simpleton, but he was harmless. He lived with his parents and helped them with odd jobs like fixing the roof or chopping wood. But the man was different. He had a superpower, but he didn't know it himself. His superpower manifested itself at night. At night, he would leave his home and go on adventures. And on these adventures, he would do extraordinary things. One time he stopped a train with his bare hands because he didn't want to die. Another time he made a bridge appear out of thin air because he wanted to reach the other side of the river. The villagers knew about these nightly escapades, but they didn't know who was behind them. They just saw the results and wondered how it happened. Some said it was a ghost, others said it was a god. But in reality, it was our simpleton. The problem was he never remembered any of this. Every morning he would wake up with no memory of the previous night. He would look on and see the results of his actions and wonder how it happened. The villagers would come up to him and tell him about the amazing things they saw him do, but he would just smile and say he had no idea what they were talking about. This went on for a while, but one day the man decided he wanted to remember his dreams. So he started keeping a dream journal by his bed. Every morning he would write down everything he remembered from his dreams, and every night before going to bed, he would read these entries to refresh his memory. It worked for a while. But then he started forgetting things from his dream journal too. Then one day something strange happened. The man was walking through the forest and saw a clearing. In the middle of the clearing was a huge rock monolith. The man had never seen this monolith before, but for some reason it felt familiar to him. He walked towards the monolith, and as he touched it, memories flooded back. He remembered who he was. He remembered his past, his training, his purpose. He was no longer a simpleton. He was a warrior. It turned out that the man was actually a prince from a faraway land. He had been sent to my village to hide from an evil sorcerer who wanted to kill him. The sorcerer had put a curse on the prince, a curse that made the prince forget everything that happened after sunset. The only thing that the prince remembered from his training was the touch of the monolith. And this monolith was a special one. It was a fragment of a meteorite that had fallen from the sky. It had incredible powers and was known to bring back lost memories. The prince was overjoyed to finally remember who he was. He thanked the meteorite monolith and vowed to use his powers for good. From that day on, the prince used his powers to help the villagers. He built houses for the poor, healed the sick, and protected the village from bandits and monsters. The villagers loved him and were grateful for his help. But there was one person who wasn't happy about the prince's return, the evil sorcerer who had put a curse on him in the first place. The sorcerer was furious that the prince had regained his memory and vowed to get rid of him once and for all. He gathered his dark magic and attacked the village. The prince fought bravely, but the sorcerer was too powerful. Just when all hope seemed lost, the prince remembered something else from his training. He remembered a secret technique that could defeat the sorcerer, using all his strength. The prince performed the technique and defeated the sorcerer. From that day on, the prince continued to live in the village. He never forgot his powers again and used them to help others. And so the legend of the night warrior, the prince who only remembered his powers at night, was passed down through generations. That's all for today. See you tomorrow.